Hi, hello, my name is Gomer Joseph. I hope you've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Today, I'll be discussing a requested case of the mysterious case of Jaleayah Davis. As I researched this case, I found it to be super weird and disturbing. It seems like Jaleayah's family, the most outrageous answer to how she lost her life, and weren't buying into these weird explanations. Now, I encourage you all to do your own research with this case and not just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. Jaleayah Davis was born on November 2nd of 1991 in Colorado Springs, Colorado, to Kim. Jaleayah also had a sister named Tabiana. Jaleayah was described as someone who was shy when she was younger, but as she grew up, she was just well loved by many. Jaleayah was close with her family. She was protective of her family. She was described as a sweetheart, soft-spoken, and had dreams of being a hairstylist. On November 18th of 2011, living in Williamstown, West Virginia, Jaleayah is 20 years old at this point, and she is ready to go to a party with this new friend that she met over the summer. After she and this friend left this party, they went to hang out with people that Jaleayah had not really hung out with before. The thing about the time that Jaleayah was with these people was that she was texting her family throughout the night, and hours later, like after midnight, Jaleayah would call her sister Tabiana to pick her up at a gas station. And as Tabiana is on the phone with Jaleayah, she just senses that something is not right because she hears how upset Jaleayah is. Jaleayah would call Tabiana a few times, expressing how her new friends were being problematic. Tabiana was getting ready to pick up Jaleayah, but she had no idea that this would be the last time that she would ever speak with her sister again. 12 minutes later, a truck driver found a gruesome sight while driving on the highway. He saw someone's lifeless body, then immediately calls the police. While Tabiana is driving, she notices these cop cars surrounding this body. The police explain this situation, describe the white coat that was, found, and the thing is that Tabiana knew that this specific white coat belonged to Jaleayah because of what the police were describing. Tabiana knew that this unidentified, gruesome body belonged to her sister. Knowing that her sister was no longer alive, Tabiana informed the family of this devastating, shocking news. While the family receives the news and the cops are looking into the situation, there were a few discoveries that made Jaleayah's passing extremely odd. They found that Jaleayah's car was a quarter-mile up the road, abandoned, with the keys still in the ignition. My thing is, how is it possible that Jaleayah's car was miles away from where her body was? Another strange thing was that Jaleayah's shirt and shoes were gone, but her jeans and underwear were still on her. But it's not like her other clothing disappeared. The thing is that her shirt, coat, and bra were on the guardrail just a bit away from where her body was. I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but Jaleayah's grandfather even looked at the crime scene himself. He discovered that there was a shoe print which most likely belonged to a female, but the shoe print didn't seem to belong to Jaleayah because her shoes were off of her body. Knowing that Jaleayah was having issues with these new friends that she was hanging out with before her passing, Tabiana calls this friend and goes off on her. But the friend stated that she had no idea what happened to Jaleayah. When the police wanted to speak with Jaleayah's friend, The friend's dad told the police that she did not want to speak with them without her lawyer. Now, I am all for, having representation when you speak with the police, but you know that your friend had just passed and you claim to know nothing, yet you don't want to talk to the police in order to help them try to, figure out what happened. You don't want to go ahead and help them and your friend's family to get answers. Jaleayah's friend, while she was being questioned, states that she and the other friends took Jaleayah to her car while she was drunk and told Jaleayah to wait for her sister to arrive so that she wouldn't drive drunk. I assume that the friend is implying that Jaleayah drove drunk, but if you were but you know what, the thing is, they were driving drunk, so I'm trying to go ahead and figure out, like, did the friend say in the police statement whether she stuck with Jaleayah and Jaleayah just drove off, or I'm not gonna go ahead and make my mind just wander around, because it's like, you don't want Jaleayah to drive drunk, but why didn't it just stay with her or drive her to her house yourself? But let's say that Jaleayah was driving. Like, how is it that if you are driving, how is your body in one place and your car just ends up in another? On top of that, why would Jaleayah just drive off when she was the one who asked her sister to pick her up at the nearest gas station? Like, make it make sense. Also, the family didn't understand how a keychain of Jaleayah's ended up with her friend. The friend claims that Jaleayah gave her the keychain, but who randomly gives a keychain away like that? Now, maybe I'm reaching, but I would, like, at least for me personally, like, I wouldn't just have a keychain with the first letter of my name and just give it to someone saying, you know what, I'm feeling a little generous today. You go ahead and have my keychain, which has the first letter of my name. Now, I don't know what it is with certain babies and keys, but when a baby sees my keys and wants to play with the keys, I don't give a baby my keys. And I love babies, but if I'm not going to go ahead and give a baby my keys, I'm definitely not going to go ahead and let somebody have a keychain of mine just out of the blue. If you want to go ahead and do that, I mean, to each their own, but that's not something I'm going to do. On February of 2012, almost an entire year after Jaleayah passed, a witness calls the police explaining that she saw Jaleayah's car being chased by her friends. But the police pretty much stated that the witness was trolling because, this witness failed the lie detector test and was arrested for her claims. Now, an autopsy was done on Jaleayah, and I was just baffled at the results of this autopsy because it just really made my head spin. According to the autopsy, Jaleayah passed away accidentally due to drunk driving. And because that's what the autopsy is showing, there is just this theory that the police have that she flew out of not her driver's seat while she was driving, but she flew out of the passenger seat when the accident took place. Okay, try to stay with me because I'm going to try to make this make as much sense as I possibly can. Now, here's the thing. In high school, I wasn't really the biggest scientist, and, physics was not my subject. In fact, I took active physics. I was that bad at science, I couldn't even go to regular physics. I had to go to active physics. So if my physics is off, then go ahead, let me know, but this is just what I'm thinking here. Because we have to go ahead and keep in mind, the car was miles away from where Jaleayah's body was. So you mean to tell me that after she was flown out of her window, the car just kept on driving with the key still in the ignition? Now, I also hear that the police state that Jaleayah, after getting flown out of the car, she was supposedly getting hit by trucks that just kept driving after hitting her. They kept driving without even stopping and without even calling the police, knowing that they hit somebody. And after she flew out of the car window, her coat, shirt, and bra were just magically placed on a guardrail just like that. On top of that, there was no blood where she supposedly flew out, but there was, in fact, blood on the car's bumper. So hopefully you were able to go ahead and, figure out exactly what I was trying to go ahead and explain, because from what I'm reading, it just seems like this was some sort of magical, unique car accident, if you ask me. Because this theory was so insane, the family was not buying this at all. They were certain that someone took Jaleayah's life. It came out that there was this surveillance footage, which was miles away from the accident, between the time that Jaleayah called her sister and to where her body was found. In the footage, a male friend of Jaleayah's is driving to a McDonald's drive-thru with two females in the car. Jaleayah's friends claim that they were the two females, but Jaleayah's family was not buying it, since the two females are not really clearly seen in the footage. This year, Jaleayah would have turned 32, but sadly, her family will only be left with memories of Jaleayah instead of spending precious time with her. They are still doing all that they can to see if they can get the answers that they have been searching for. I do pray that God would comfort her family and that her family would seek him. The God that I serve, the God of the Bible, is an all-seeing God. He knows exactly what happened to Jaleayah, and if this wasn't an accident, he will make sure that those involved will pay for what they've done. I thank you all for taking the time in today to watch this video. If you did like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on this case at all, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there is a certain true crime case that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and let me know. I will see y'all for next True Crime Tuesdays, and I will talk to y'all later.